there comes a moment in every life when you realize that not all storms come to destroy you. Some arrive to clear your path, teach you patience, and strengthen your spirit. And one of the greatest storms you will ever face walks on two legs, breathes the same air as you, and tests your calm with every word, difficult people. But here's the truth. Difficult people are not obstacles to your peace. They are invitations to rise above the noise, step into your power, and learn the art of emotional self-mastery. You cannot control who shows up in your life. You cannot control their tone, their attitude, their negativity, or their chaos. But you can control the way you respond. That is where your freedom lies. That is where your strength begins. The moment you stop giving others the power to disturb your inner world, that is the moment you start living from a place of deep, unshakable peace. When someone tries to drag you into their storm, remember, you were born to stand in your calm. When they speak harshly, you do not have to match their energy. When they push you emotionally, you don't have to react instantly. Take a breath. Step back, see the situation for what it is, not what your emotions fear it to be. Difficult people are often carrying wounds they've never faced. Their anger is a cover. Their rudeness is a shield. Their behavior says more about their inner battles than it ever says about you. Sometimes you meet people who try to make you feel small, not because you are small, but because they are frightened by your light. Don't dim it. Don't shrink yourself. Don't trade your peace for the approval or validation of anyone who hasn't done the work to heal themselves. You deserve better than that. And sometimes the most powerful response you can give is silence. Not silence out of weakness. Silence born from clarity. Silence that says, I choose peace over drama. I choose growth over conflict. I choose myself, but protecting your peace is not selfish. It is an act of self-respect. You are not responsible for fixing people who don't want to be fixed. You are not obligated to absorb their anger, solve their problems, or carry their emotional weight. You are responsible for your energy, your boundaries, and your well-being. The people who try to stress you out are often the very people who have lost control of their own lives. Don't let their chaos become your chaos. Don't let their fear become your fear. And don't let their behavior become the reason you forget your worth. Choose to respond from a grounded place. Choose to protect your inner space. Choose to rise above, because when you stop letting difficult people steal your joy, you reclaim something far more powerful, your peace, your presence, your power. You do not control people. You only control your reaction. This is one of the most powerful truths you can learn in this lifetime, because the moment it sinks into your heart is the moment you stop giving others permission to decide how you feel. You begin to understand that peace is not something someone gives you. Peace is something you create from within, regardless of what or who stands in front of you. Most of the stress you experience does not come from people themselves, but from the way you react to them, the way you internalize their behavior, the way you allow their energy to enter your emotional space. When you realize you have the ability to control your reaction, you take back the power you once unknowingly handed over. Every person you meet carries their own story, their own wounds, and their own storms. Some people will speak with kindness while others will respond with frustration, anger, or impatience. You cannot rewrite their stories. You cannot heal their wounds. You cannot choose their mindset, but you can choose yours. You can choose how you respond to their tone. You can choose whether you rise to their negativity or stay grounded in your calm. You can choose whether you allow their chaos to influence you or whether you stand firm in your clarity. There's freedom in understanding that your reaction belongs to you alone. When someone speaks harshly, you do not have to take their words into your soul. When they behave unfairly, you do not have to let it shape your self-worth. When they try to provoke you, you do not have to step into the fight. People will do what people do. They will act according to their level of healing, their level of awareness, and the weight they are carrying inside. Their behavior is a reflection of their inner world, not yours. Your reaction is a reflection of who you are becoming, not who they are trying to make you. Every time you choose to respond with patience instead of anger, you strengthen your emotional discipline. Every time you breathe before reacting, you build inner wisdom. Every time you decline the invitation to enter someone else's drama, you protect your peace. This is how you grow. This is how you rise. This is how you evolve into someone who is no longer shaken by every voice, every mood, or every conflict that comes your way. You may not control the way someone speaks to you, but you can control the meaning you attach to it. You may not control someone's attitude, but you can control whether you absorb it. You may not control their choices, but you can control whether you react impulsively or respond mindfully. The power is always in your hands, even when it feels like the situation is slipping away. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need to defend yourself against every misunderstanding. You do not need to correct every rude person. Sometimes the strongest reaction is no reaction. Sometimes the most powerful step you take is the one that leads you away from negativity rather than deeper into it. When you learn to master your reaction, difficult people lose their ability to control your mood. Conflicts lose their ability to drain your energy. Stress loses its ability to dominate your day. You begin to live from a place of intention rather than emotion. You stop letting the world decide who you are, and you start choosing who you want to be. And that is where true peace begins. Difficult people reveal your emotional strength, not your weakness. It is easy to stay calm when everything around you is gentle and smooth. It is easy to be kind when everyone treats you with patience and respect. It is easy to feel grounded when no one is testing your boundaries. But the real measure of your emotional growth shows up when you are faced with someone who challenges your peace. These are the moments that uncover how much you have learned, how much you have grown, and how deeply you trust yourself. You may think difficult people are sent to break you, but very often they are placed in your path to build you, shape you, and strengthen you in ways comfort never could. When someone speaks to you with disrespect, your first instinct might be to defend yourself, react quickly, or meet their tone with the same energy. But when you choose to pause, breathe, and respond with intention rather than impulse, you are witnessing your own emotional power. You are seeing your strength in real time. The restraint you show is not weakness. The patience you offer is not surrender. The calm you maintain is not softness. It is strength in its truest and most mature form. Difficult people have a unique ability to expose the limits of your inner stability. They reveal where you still need healing. They show the places where you easily get triggered. They expose the emotional wounds you thought were gone but were only quiet. They highlight whether you are reacting to the present moment or responding from old pain. In this way, they become mirrors. These mirrors are not always pleasant to look into. They reflect the discomfort you try avoid, but they also guide you to what requires attention, awareness, and growth. Without these mirrors, you might never know how strong you truly are or how strong you still need to become. Sometimes you meet people who carry so much pain inside that they try to pass it to you. They project their frustration, their fear, or their insecurities. Their attempts to shake your peace are not personal. They are signs of their inner storms. When you respond with composure, you show that you are not controlled by the emotional weather around you. When you choose stability over reaction, awareness over anger, and clarity over chaos, you demonstrate a quiet strength that cannot be forced, faked, or shaken. Emotional strength is not loud. It does not seek to win every battle. It does not need to prove itself. Emotional strength is steady. It is patient. It is grounded. It shows up in the way you choose to protect your peace. It shows up in the way you refuse to let someone else's attitude decide your mood. It shows up in the way you refuse to be dragged into arguments that steal your energy and serve no purpose. Every difficult person you meet is an opportunity to rise into a stronger version of yourself. Every challenging conversation teaches you how to stay centered. Every moment where you choose peace over reaction deepens your power. You become someone who does not fall apart when the world becomes loud. You become someone who does not break when tension rises. You become someone who does not crumble under pressure, but becomes sharper, wiser, and more resilient. Your emotional strength is revealed not when life is calm, but when life presses on your spirit and you remain steady. Difficult people are not tests you need to fear. They are reminders that you are capable of holding your ground, honoring your inner peace, and choosing who you become regardless of how anyone else behaves. They do not make you weak. They help you discover the strength you never knew you had. Choose calm over conflict. It is your superpower. Calm is not the absence of emotion. Calm is the presence of self-control. Calm is the quiet strength that reminds you that you do not have to participate in every argument, react to every comment, or respond to every provocation. Calm is the force that keeps you steady when the world around you feels chaotic. Calm is the inner anchor that allows you to hold your peace, even when someone tries to shake it. Chaos may knock at your door, but you do not have to let it inside. Conflict may reach for you, but you do not have to reach back. The ability to stay calm in a heated moment is not something you are born with. It is something you build through awareness, practice, and emotional discipline. And every time you choose calm when conflict tries to pull you in, you strengthen this power. Some people thrive on conflict because conflict is familiar to them. Some people only know how to communicate through anger or pressure. Some people feel powerful when they create tension or provoke reactions. When you respond with calm, you break the cycle they are trying to create. You refuse to feed the fire they are hoping you ignite. Your calm does not make you weak. It makes you untouchable because nothing is more confusing to a person who expects a reaction than someone who refuses to give one. Your calm protects your energy. Your calm protects your clarity. Your calm protects your emotional balance. Calm does not mean you ignore problems or avoid truth. Calm means you approach situations with a clear mind instead of a charged heart. Calm means you speak from intention rather than impulse. Calm means you choose solutions over drama and peace over unnecessary battles. When someone raises their voice, your calm reminds you that volume does not equal value. When someone tries to attack your character, your calm reminds you that you do not need to defend yourself against people committed to misunderstanding you. When someone throws negativity at you, your calm reminds you that you do not have to catch it or carry it. Conflict drains your spirit, steals your focus, and weakens your joy. Calm restores you. Calm centers you. Calm keeps you aligned with who you want to be rather than who someone else is trying to turn you into. It is easy to be calm when life is gentle, but true power reveals itself when calm remains intact in difficult moments. When you are calm, you see the situation for what it is rather than what your emotions are exaggerating. When you are calm, you separate what needs attention from what does not deserve your energy. When you are calm, you make decisions that support your peace instead of reactions that you later regret. Choosing calm is not about suppressing how you feel. It is about mastering how you respond. It is about understanding that not everything requires your involvement. It is about recognizing that your peace is worth more than winning an argument or proving someone wrong. Sometimes the best way to win is to walk away. Sometimes the best way to speak is to stay silent. Sometimes the best way to protect yourself is to refuse to engage in conflict that leads nowhere. When you choose calm over conflict, you become the authority of your emotional world. You no longer hand your power to people who want to provoke you. You no longer let situations dictate your mood. You no longer react from fear, stress, or frustration. Instead, you respond from awareness, dignity, and strength. Calm is not a weakness. Calm is a shield. Calm is wisdom. Calm is control. And when you choose calm consistently, you become someone who can navigate any situation with grace, clarity, and unshakable confidence. You become someone who rises above conflict rather than sinking into it. Calm becomes your superpower because it allows you to remain yourself even when everything around you is trying to pull you away from who you are. Silence is sometimes the strongest response. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is not a lack of courage. Silence is a conscious choice to protect your energy, your peace, and your emotional balance. There are moments in life when speaking only feeds the fire. There are moments when arguing brings no clarity. There are moments when explaining yourself to someone who is determined not to understand you becomes an unnecessary burden. In those moments, silence becomes your strength. Silence becomes your wisdom. Silence becomes your boundary. Silence tells the world that you do not need to respond to every comment, and you do not need to justify your truth to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. When someone tries to provoke you, silence allows you to step outside the emotional trap. It keeps you from falling into arguments that serve no purpose and only drain your spirit. Difficult people often use conflict to pull you into their chaos. They want a reaction. They want control. They want to feel powerful by shaking your peace. But silence stops that cycle. Silence takes away the reward they are seeking. Silence protects you from being dragged into a situation that does not deserve your time or your energy. When you remain silent, you are not ignoring reality. You are choosing to deal with it in a way that honors your inner peace rather than reacting in a way that harms it. Silence allows you to observe without absorbing. You can see someone's behavior clearly. You can notice their patterns. You can recognize their intentions without letting their actions consume you. You begin to realize that their words are a reflection of their inner battles, not a reflection of your worth. Silence gives you the pause you need to step back and understand what is really happening. It prevents you from reacting out of hurt, anger, or confusion. It reminds you that you do not need to rush into emotional decisions. You can take your time, you can breathe, you can choose a response that aligns with your values instead of reacting in a way you may later regret. There is a unique power in silence that most people underestimate. It gives you the chance to listen to your intuition. It gives you the space to gather your thoughts. It gives you the clarity to understand what truly matters and what is simply noise. When you sit in silence, you step into a higher level of awareness where you are no longer controlled by the chaos around you. Instead, you are guided by your own inner strength. Silence becomes your anchor in moments when emotions run high. Silence becomes your shield in moments when others try to provoke you. Silence becomes your teacher showing you that not everything requires your response and not everything deserves your voice. Some people believe that speaking louder makes them stronger. They believe that arguing harder wins the battle. They believe that responding quickly shows confidence, but real strength is the ability to remain steady when others expect you to fall apart. Real strength is the ability to hold your peace when others are trying to break it. Real strength is the ability to choose silence when speaking would only deepen the pain. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the presence of control. Silence is the reminder that you do not need to engage in every situation to prove who you are. When you choose silence, you send a message to yourself and to the world. You say that your peace matters more than their drama. You say that your self-respect matters more than winning an argument. You say that you are strong enough to walk away and wise enough to know when to do it. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of strength. Silence is full of wisdom. Silence is full of clarity. And when you learn to use it at the right time, silence becomes one of the most powerful responses you will ever have. Protecting your peace is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your emotional well-being matters. It is a reminder that your energy is valuable and not everyone should have access to it. It is the understanding that your mental space is sacred and you have the right to decide who enters it and who does not. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. It is a way of honoring yourself in a world full of noise, demands, pressures, and unpredictable people. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot heal if you are constantly being drained. You cannot grow when you are surrounded by chaos. Protecting your peace becomes the foundation of a healthy, balanced, and meaningful life. There will always be people who test your boundaries. Some will do it intentionally because they are used to taking advantage of your kindness and your patience. Others will do it unconsciously because they have never learned how to treat people with respect. You cannot control their actions, but you can control your access. You can decide how much space they get in your life. You can decide how much influence they have over your emotions. You can decide whether their energy lifts you or drains you. Protecting your peace means recognizing that it is okay to step back from people who do not value your presence. It means understanding that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Peace is not something you find outside yourself. Peace is something you create inside yourself by choosing what you allow into your life. It comes from setting clear boundaries and honoring those boundaries even when others do not. It comes from saying no without guilt when your heart needs rest. It comes from walking away from conversations that damage your spirit. It comes from limiting your time with people who bring negativity into your world. Peace is built through small intentional choices that protect your heart from unnecessary stress. When you protect your peace, you begin to understand what truly matters. You learn to let go of things that once consumed you. You stop forcing relationships that are meant to fade. You stop explaining yourself to people who do not listen. You stop sacrificing your happiness to keep others comfortable. Protecting your peace allows you to live your truth without apology. You learn to trust your intuition when it tells you something or someone is not good for your emotional health. You learn to walk away without feeling the need to justify it. Sometimes protecting your peace means distancing yourself from people you care about but who constantly hurt you. It means loving them from afar while choosing yourself first. It means recognizing that peace does not require disconnection from love, but it does require disconnection from harm. It means accepting that you cannot heal in the same environment that made you bleed. This realization is not cold. It is courageous. It is the moment you choose to save your own soul. Protecting your peace also requires protecting your thoughts. What you think becomes what you feel. What you feel becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes how you live. If you allow negativity to dominate your mind, you will feel heavy even when life is light. If you surround yourself with stress, you will feel overwhelmed even when nothing is wrong. Protecting your peace means feeding your mind with clarity, positivity, wisdom, and truth. It means being intentional about what you consume, whether it is conversations, social media, or the atmosphere you place yourself in. When you make peace a priority, everything else begins to shift. Your relationships improve because you are no longer reacting from fear or frustration. Your decisions become clearer because they are made from a grounded place. Your confidence grows because you trust your ability to protect yourself emotionally. You stop chasing validation because you finally understand your worth. Protecting your peace is one of the highest forms of self-love. It is the moment you take responsibility for your emotional world and decide that nothing and no one is worth losing your inner calm. The truth is that life will always bring you people who challenge your patience and situations that test your calm. You cannot escape every difficult moment, and you cannot avoid every difficult person, but you can rise above them. You can choose how you show up. You can decide what energy you allow into your heart. When you learn to control your reactions, when you recognize your strength in the face of tension, when you choose calm over conflict, when you honor the power of silence, and when you protect your peace with confidence, courage, and you step into a life that no one else can disturb. This journey is not about changing others. It is about transforming yourself. It is about building emotional wisdom that keeps you grounded when the world becomes heavy. It is about trusting your ability to stay steady even when someone tries to shake you. It is about understanding that your peace is not fragile. Your peace is fierce. Your calm is strong. Your strength is real. And once you claim that truth, no voice, no mood, no drama, no moment will have the power to steal it away from you again. So choose yourself, choose your peace. Choose the version of you who responds with clarity rather than reacts with fear. The version who rises instead of breaking. The version who breathes instead of battling. The version who knows that true power is not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. When you live from that place, you do not just deal with difficult people. You transcend them. You walk through life with grace, courage, purpose, and unshakable inner strength. And that is where your freedom begins.